Chapter 11, The Ruins of Eldershade. The ruins loomed ahead, their jagged silhouettes barely visible through the torrential downpour. Ancient stone arches stood broken and moss-covered, remnants of a civilization long past. The ground was slick with mud, and the air carried the scent of wet earth and something else, something old and forgotten. Kalen led the way, sword drawn. "We need shelter. The storm isn't natural, it's being summoned." Joss clutched the lantern tightly, feeling the eerie pulse within. "Then we have to hurry." As they entered the ruins, strange glyphs carved into the stone walls shimmered in the lantern's light. Eldrin, still adjusting to the stone creeping up his arm, traced a trembling finger over one of the markings. "This is a warning. The ones who came before us, they knew the lantern's power. And they feared it." Marla scanned the surroundings, her bow drawn. Feared it enough to leave a message, but not enough to destroy it. Why? Before anyone could answer, a deep rumble echoed through the ruins. The ground trembled, and from the shadows, figures stirred. Not watchers, not wolves, something else. Figures clad in broken armor, their hollow eyes gleaming with an unnatural light. The Guardians of Eldershade had awoken. "Defensive positions!" Tiber roared, raising his axe as the first of the ancient sentinels advanced. Chapter 12, The Unfinished Oath. The battle within the ruins was unlike any they had faced before. The sentinels moved with the precision of trained warriors, their broken blades still deadly despite centuries of decay. Their armor, though cracked and corroded, seemed impervious to ordinary steel. Joss held the lantern high, its glow flickering as if reacting to the presence of the undead warriors. They're bound to this place, tied to an oath they never fulfilled. Eldrin, despite the creeping stone affliction, stepped forward. "Then let's finish it." His voice carried through the ruins, and for a moment, the sentinels hesitated. The air around them thickened, swirling with unseen energy. The glyphs on the walls flared brightly, revealing an ancient script that Kalen struggled to read. "To the one who carries the light, the choice is yours. Release us, or take our place." Marla swore under her breath. "They're asking for judgment. What do we do?" Joss hesitated, then gritted his teeth. "We release them. No one should be trapped forever." The lantern flared, its light piercing the darkness. The sentinels froze, then one by one, their forms crumbled into dust, their spirits finally free. But as the last one faded, the ruins trembled once more. The lantern had awoken something far older. Chapter 13, The Shadow Beneath. As the dust settled, a deep growl echoed from beneath the ruins. Cracks formed in the stone floor, and from the darkness below, a pair of glowing red eyes emerged. "Something else was imprisoned here," Kalen whispered, stepping back. The ground split open, revealing a cavernous abyss. A massive clawed hand emerged, gripping the stone edge, followed by the hulking form of a creature unlike anything they had seen before. Its body was wreathed in shifting shadows, its form constantly shifting between beast and mist. The lantern didn't just free the sentinels, Eldrin rasped. It broke the seal. The creature lunged, its form stretching unnaturally, tendrils of darkness reaching for Joss and the lantern. Tiber swung his axe, but the blade passed through the creature like mist. Marla loosed an arrow, aiming for its glowing eyes. The arrow struck true, but the creature barely flinched. Instead, it turned its gaze upon her, and for a terrifying moment, Marla was frozen in place, caught in its grasp without a single touch. Joss took a step forward, gripping the lantern tightly. I think it fears this." The creature recoiled as the lantern's light flared again. But even as it shrank back, its voice slithered into their minds, a whisper filled with venom and hunger. "You have broken the chains. Now, you will take their place." The ruin shook violently, and the cavernous abyss beneath them widened. The battle was far from over. Chapter 14, The First Guardian. Joss barely had time to react as the ground gave way beneath them. The group tumbled into darkness, the wind rushing past their ears. For a moment, all was weightless chaos, then, they hit the ground hard, the impact knocking the breath from their lungs. Groaning, Joss pushed himself up, his fingers still clenched around the lantern. The glow was dim, barely holding back the surrounding darkness. Kalen, Marla, Eldrin, and Tiber staggered to their feet, scanning their new surroundings. They had landed in a massive chamber, its walls lined with colossal statues of armored figures. At the far end, a single throne stood, occupied by a figure wreathed in shadows. Unlike the beast above, this one was still, waiting. Eldrin's breath came shallowly. A guardian. One of the first. The figure stirred. Its voice was deep, reverberating through the chamber. You have come bearing the light. And so, the trial begins. Kalen stepped forward. We didn't come here for a trial. We're trying to end the curse. The Guardian's eyes flared. Only those who prove themselves worthy may wield the light. Face me, or be consumed by the darkness you have unleashed. The statues lining the walls groaned as they began to move, their stone forms cracking as they came to life. The first Guardian rose from his throne, drawing a blade that pulsed with energy. The trial had begun. Chapter 15, The Lantern's Secret. The battle against the Guardian was unlike any they had fought before. It was not merely a test of strength, but of will. Every strike was met with an equal force, every move countered with deadly precision. The Guardian did not fight to kill, but to test, pushing them to their limits. Eldrin's stone-afflicted arm ached, but he fought through the pain. Marla and Tiber flanked the Guardian, their strikes forcing it back step by step. Kalen stood firm, acting as their shield. Joss, meanwhile, felt something strange. The lantern pulsed with energy, reacting to the battle. Then, in a flash of insight, he understood. It's not about winning, he shouted. It's about understanding. The lantern isn't just a weapon, it's a key. The Guardian hesitated for the briefest moment. Joss seized the opportunity, stepping forward and raising the lantern high. I accept the burden, he declared. The light, the darkness, the cost, I accept it all. A brilliant flash engulfed the chamber. The Guardian froze, then slowly, it lowered its blade. The statues ceased their movement, returning to their silent vigil. The Guardian's voice, no longer hostile, rumbled through the chamber. Then you have taken your first step. But the path ahead is treacherous. The lantern's secret is only beginning to reveal itself. As the glow faded, Joss felt something new, an understanding, a connection to the lantern that had not been there before. The true journey was just beginning.